Hey, sometimes Google's real interesting. They have their image of the day is really relevant, and today it is for what? Veterans Day. Now, Veterans Day is what you know it as, but let me ask you this. What happened on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918?
We got rid of the
end of World War I.
The end of World War I. Now put your phones up. We're done looking at Google.
What is the point in this?
So you can see the banner of the day. See the banner of the day? See the banner of the day? Yeah, that's Snapchat. Where's that?
What you mean? I saw that on Google.
So the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918 was the end of World War I. It is the moment that the guns went silent. And would you believe, I think this is an awesome piece of technology for the 1918s, we have primary source audio of the moment that the guns went silent. So listen to this. I'm going to pull this up. Just listen to this and tell me what you notice about this is the last minute of World War I. Tell me what you notice about it. Originally, November 11th, throughout the world is known as Armistice Day. Armistice means the laying down of arms, not just in America, right? Sometimes we're so American-centric, we think that November 11th is our holiday. Not just in America, also in a lot of the Commonwealth countries. Commonwealth means the former British Empire. Commonwealth countries such as England, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and then France gets included in there as well. They recognize this day as Armistice Day. Now, you guys know it as Veterans Day. That is because in 1954, President Eisenhower expanded the observation of this day to include all veterans. We have a whole new generation of veterans coming off of World War II. So in 1954, it starts to be called Veterans Day, and it is still recognized on November 11th. So there's that connection from World War I, Armistice Day, and then today we call it Veterans Day. So there's a lot to think about, but it is appropriate to recognize all veterans, not just veterans of World War I, because there aren't anymore, but we recognize all veterans. Who in this building, other than myself, I've told you all my Army stories, you know I'm in the military. Who else is a veteran in this building?
Greg Gay.
Coach Mosley right next door,
Gay.
and then Coach Gay. Have you seen this picture before? Mr. Mosley? Young whippersnapper. Yeah, he's got a nice white beard now. And then students usually get a kick out of this one. There's Greg Gay, U.S. Marine. Yeah, I don't think the eyes have changed one bit. I think the eyes look exactly the way he said. He's a steely-eyed pull-up machine, right? Challenge Greg Gay to a pull-up contest. You won't win. I promise. Do it. Do it. Coach Gay, I want to challenge you to a pull-up contest.
Did you win? Have you want to get some?
I wouldn't win. I would. Greg Gay can do about 40 pull-ups, and I cannot. So I will not challenge Greg Gay to a pull-up contest. Of course, I've been a veteran myself. I've done active duty, and I am still Army National Guard. This next picture I show you, it's not about me. It's not about my family, but I want you to recognize that, yeah, it's Veterans Day, and we talk about the people who have worn a uniform. But I want you to recognize the family members of them as well. So in my case, as the man, my wife has followed me, all the moves that the Army has taken us on. My kids have followed all those moves as well. We've moved 4 times in 5 years at one point. My kids didn't have Christmas in the same house consecutively for 5 years. So we stopped in Oklahoma for 3 straight years, and then now we've been in Alma for 2 years. So we moved a lot. The military asks you to do that. Now, sometimes maybe it's the mom or the wife who serves, and then the husband has a civilian job or a different job. And the point is that the family also serves as well. And military kids, they're pretty special breed. I think Mason has a lot of resilience in her from having moved so many times. Yes, ma'am.
What made you want to go into the? Yeah.
What made me want to join the military? You want my personal story? So for everybody has a different story, for sure. Reasons for service are very different. My generation obviously saw September 11th happen in our formative years. I was in 8th grade, so someone my age was in middle school, maybe high school when September 11th happened, and that might have motivated a lot of people. Me personally, I got motivated a little bit before September 11th. For me personally, it was the movie The Patriot. Mel Gibson's The Patriot, which is why I love that movie so much. For me, I know that the movie is fiction. I know that the characters aren't actually even realistic historical figures. But for me, seeing that fight for original freedom, seeing the patriotism that came out of the American Revolution really inspired me to want to give back. And that is a big reason that I joined the military eventually. Obviously, I had to maintain that inspiration and passion and had to follow through with it. But for me, it all started with Mel Gibson's The Patriot when I was in 6th grade. People serve for a lot of reasons. They're not all the same. So Madeline, if you ever choose service, it could be for an entirely different reason. Today we have ourselves on Veterans Day. I want to point out this kind of iconic symbol of Veterans Day, which is the red poppy flower. A world historian, you may remember this from a past class. This is a poem. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it's called In Flanders Field. Flanders Field is actually a portion of Belgium where there was kind of high-intensity World War I trench warfare. And this poem was written by a doctor, a lieutenant colonel doctor. So obviously he's seeing a lot of dead and wounded, and he's dealing with a lot of injuries and blood and guts. But he writes this poem, and what he does is the poem contrasts the ugly side of war, the bombs, the bullets, the blood, the broken, the dead, with these fields. Flanders Fields was, they had these red flowers, these poppy flowers would spring out of it. So amidst the destruction, you have this beautiful red flower or wildflower populating these fields. And here's a picture that kind of would represent what it would look like. This is a painting, but this represents the Flanders Fields. And the poem speaks about how sad and how tragic the loss of life was, but it contrasted with the beauty of Flanders Fields and the red poppy. So I want to bring your attention to this. If you see this red poppy symbol, red flower, black center, Tyler remembers that we actually made a little craft in my class last year. This represents World War I, and the phrase right there, lest we forget, that means, we should not forget, let us never forget. That is a phrase commonly associated with Veterans Day and with the red poppy symbol right there. So, like I mentioned, in the United States, this day has shifted to Veterans Day. This morning I went to a Veterans Day breakfast at the elementary school. It was very nice, and it was a nice honor from the community. In the Commonwealth countries, England, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, France is included in there as well, they still have Remembrance Day. Same day, November 11th, because that is the anniversary of the ending of the war when the guns went silent. But they have Remembrance Day. And actually, across all Commonwealth countries, at the exact same time, the marking of 11 a.m., these entire countries, whole countries, stop and pause for 2 minutes. Cars stop driving, trains stop running, the government, they're not typing at their computers. Everyone stops for 2 minutes at 11 a.m. to recognize the moment that the guns went silent. I think that's pretty cool that these Commonwealth countries still recognize Remembrance Day in that way. And this, we're not going to watch this video, but it kind of recognizes the poppy flower as a symbol. I'll post this on Google Classroom. Just want to say a couple things about being a veteran, right? I've told you some Army stories. I've shared some things about Afghanistan. Wearing my black hat today. I'll explain that in a second as well. Here's what I see a veteran as, right? This is my personal story. Whether someone recognizes Christianity or recognizes the Bible, follows Jesus, has accepted Jesus, trusts in him for salvation, whether someone does that or not, I see a veteran as someone who embodies this statement from the book of John. And the verse reads, "Greater love has no one as this, that he would lay down his life for his friends." That is Jesus speaking, and Jesus describing his own actions, what he would do to bring salvation to the world. Whether you believe that or not about the religious side of things, that's what a veteran is. A veteran is someone who will offer his life for his friends, who will sacrifice for his friends, and really for people that he or she has never even met. A veteran will write a blank check to the country, to the world, to go and serve on behalf of people they've never even met. So that is, when you say, what is a veteran? Oh, my uncle's a veteran. Oh, my grandpa's a veteran. At some point in their life, they have served. They have offered their safety, their health, up to the point of maybe even death, to serve people that they've never even met. So let that weighty moment kind of sink in on you. That is what is a veteran. Something else about veterans, a lot of times there's this condition called post-traumatic stress disorder. Who's ever heard of it?
You don't like this one.
How's it abbreviated?
PTS.
PTSD. Tyler, whoever said, man, I'm proud of you.
Wait, do you have that?
So PTSD is the abbreviation for post-traumatic stress disorder. What this means, this is fancy medical speak for has experienced something difficult. You can get PTSD through a lot of things. It doesn't just have to be war or combat. It could be a car wreck. It could be trauma of a variety of trauma. What PTSD is, it means that you might be struggling a little bit. You might be healing from something. But here's the flaw. A lot of times veterans who've experienced bombs, bullets, death, dying, a lot of times veterans are seen as broken or damaged, or, oh, the war changed him, or he's been angry since the war. The war made him turn to alcoholism, whatever the case may be. Here's what I would offer to you. Tyler remembers, and I appreciate that. I think we got to cut out the D. I think we got to strike the D. It's not a disorder. To have experienced something difficult, that doesn't make you disordered. That doesn't make you broken. You may have post-traumatic stress. You may be dealing and healing, but veterans are not disordered just because they've experienced difficulty. So I would ask of you, if you know someone's a veteran, maybe they're wearing the black hat that kind of says, I'm a veteran. Maybe it's someone in your family. Maybe the war did change them, but I would ask you, don't treat them as disordered. Don't treat them as broken. Help them heal. Help them deal with the stress they've been through. Who's your veteran?
My uncle.
He just yells a lot? Yeah. Now, sometimes sometimes veterans carry that label. Sometimes they feel disordered. So what I would ask of you is to help them not feel disorder. All right, hang with me. I'm wrapping up my Veterans Day thoughts here. Then we're going to get on to the U.S. history class. How many of you have seen a black cat in and around town before? Right? We go to the Boat Rides Buffet on Sundays a lot, and I don't know, all the veterans must go to Boat Rides Buffet on Sunday.
Right now.
You see one right now? Yeah. Now listen, I don't wear this hat. I personally don't wear this hat very much, usually just on this Veterans Day, and I definitely don't do it for the recognition. I do it so I can make this point. When you see a hat like this in and around town, you know what? I don't know why it's black. I don't know why the lettering is gold, but as you can see, somehow that's kind of what it's become. You want to finish my sentence for me? What should you do?
Ask them their story.
Ask them their stories. Yeah, we've already been through World War I in this class. I will challenge you to not just say thank you for your service and run away, but ask them what their story is. And you know what? What else? What should you do? Buy them a what?
Drink.
Buy them a cup of coffee. Someday you might be able to buy them a drink. Buy them a cup of coffee. Because what do they have to offer you?
Their life.
Their life.
A life lesson. They've offered their life to you. That's right. But I believe that a lot of veterans have a lot of stories to tell. The breakfast I was at just this morning, I collected some stories just by talking to some men, right? And I know that there's a lot of kin in and around Alma as well. So there might be a lot of stories that need to be told. Maybe I showed this picture before. I bet Madeline will let me know. Madeline, have you seen this picture before?
Oh, that's her dad.
Oh,
I want you to think about this. That older gentleman that you see in the grocery store line, or at church, or at the restaurant, that older fella that wears the black hat that says Vietnam veteran, I want you to know that he once used to be far more hard and bad than you ever will be. So he may walk with a walker, he may have a cane, he may have a bad back. But I want you to think that all veterans have carried guns through the jungle and done harder things than you could ever even imagine. Yes, sir.
My uncle, when he was over there, I don't know where he was. He was over somewhere.
Uh-huh.
He said he ate some pizza over there in a dark alley.
I don't know how the story ends.
He was so drunk, like.
Oh, I got a story.
Save the story.
No, I got a story.
So, no, let me finish my story.
Oh,
So this is the picture. This is the Veterans Day several years ago. I had the privilege of speaking at my old high school while we were in Oklahoma. I spoke at my old high school, brought the Veterans Day message for the student body there, and kind of, on the lines of talking about the black hats. There is this fellow there who has a World War II veteran. And let me tell you, that crowd, they're passing away. Okay, they're leaving the earth. They're dying. They're old and they are passing away. So it was a real privilege to meet this gentleman who's a World War II veteran. And you know what? My hat says Afghanistan. His hat says World War II.
That's far.
But what connects us, right? Even the distance between our service, what connects us is our service. So it's a real privilege to meet him. And this, what I would challenge you is, if you see especially these older gentlemen, Korea, World War II, shake their hands and tell them thank you and try to collect all the learning you can from them before they do pass away, before the whole generation passes away.
If my uncle's 50-something, what war was he in?
Ooh, Vietnam at best.
All right.
Maybe even after that. So, final big thought. Let me challenge you, young people. If you really want to thank a soldier, be the kind of American worth fighting for. If you really want to do more than thank you for your service, hey, if you want to do more than just that sentiment, those words coming out of your mouth, if you want to make your words mean something, be the kind of American worth fighting for. Be the kind of student that's going to set yourself up to accomplish things afterwards. Be the kind. Service happens in a lot of ways. I'm not telling you have to put a uniform on to be worthy of being of service. But you may choose military service, but you know what? You may choose to be a teacher. You may choose to be a doctor. You may choose to be a stay-at-home parent. You may choose to be in the workforce. I love Mike Rowe's dirty jobs. You may choose to have a dirty job someday. That's service too. But what I would ask of you, the best way you could repay me for service I've already done, Mr. Mosley, Coach Gay, any veteran in town, best way you can thank a soldier, repay a veteran, is to be the kind of American worth fighting for. So maybe that'll sit in on some of you. You'll think about, what does it mean to be worth fighting for? Do I deserve the service and sacrifice that so many have already given? We've already pointed out that there's Veterans Plaza right here in Alma. Some of you have kin whose names are etched there. Who's got kin with their name etched there? Got two Hollands, Uncle Jerry and Uncle Roger. I know their names are on the wall there. So I would encourage you next time. What restaurant is this next to? Dairy Queen.
You got the little bench there. So you can fill that little bench. There's like a little plaque that has like a few names.
Okay.
What's that?
Like right here?
Yes,
I don't know in particular. I don't know in particular. Why don't you go read the sign and find out?
I did. I'll set it.
You know what, Hunter? I'll go swing by and see if I can see what those names mean. Here's what I would encourage you to do. Next time you're at Dairy Queen, get your favorite snickety snack. Get yourself a little small Blizzard, because you don't deserve anything more than a small. I'm just kidding. Next time you go to Dairy Queen, why don't you walk across the street and see the Veterans Plaza? See if you recognize any of the names there as it is. So, Veterans Day, I hope that maybe I brought you some information you didn't know before. Maybe something you'll go talk to your uncle about, talk to your kin about. More than it, I don't need your thank you, right? I would ask you to offer your thanks to the other veterans in your life and take today, November 11th, as an opportunity to do that.